All right. Next topic is probably shorter, easier one. This is the report from Personnel Committee regarding the proposed WSBA BOG no retaliation policy. Governor Meserve, you take the lead on that one? All right, thanks. And Felix. Okay.
I just wanted to say a couple of quick things. Mostly it's about, first, just thanking Chris and Ethan, who are cycling off, for giving me a soft landing in a place where there was, I needed lots of cover. Just trying to come up to speed. Dan Clark, who's cycling off, thanks for working with me. I appreciate it. To the people that I'm continuing to work with, Alec and Kyle, I look forward to partnering with you, and to the people that are joining the committee, which, as I have them listed, Sunitha, Paul, Carla, PJ, Bryn, and Brian. I am looking forward to working with all of you, and just want to make sure that you know that I have made sure to listen to a lot of my colleagues who said that the whole idea of trying to make sure that we look carefully at how we are purposeful about aligning to values and letting that drive policy, and making sure that we consider things with regard to how we're going to make sure that we work forward in ways in which we ensure kind of a safe work environment for all, and a good collaborative relationship is something that I know is going to happen, and I'm thanking you all in advance for your partnership.
Thank you, Felix. This is on, actually, for a report from Personnel Committee regarding the proposed WSBA Board of Governors no retaliation policy. I think one of the things that's happened to us in personnel and happened to the board over the past year is that we began conflating a number of issues that should have been separate. First is no retaliation. The court asked us to adopt a non-retaliation policy, and we did so in January. It was forwarded to the court, and they have it. So that part of the Personnel Committee's work and the board's work with respect to that issue was completed. We then received some concerns from staff about the non-retaliation policy that we had adopted, and it sort of morphed into a discussion about an anti-harassment and anti-discrimination policy. So we had a number of drafts that went around, not just in the Personnel Committee, but also on the board with respect to draft policies. We came before you with a draft policy that was sort of a combination of non-retaliation and anti-discrimination / anti-harassment. And then we added a third leg onto the plan, which was the conflict of interest policy, because of the concern that the staff raised and we recognized, which was having the Board of Governors involved in consideration of allegations either made by a member of the board or made against a member of the board. So all of those things were sort of being morphed into one overall policy. When it went back to personnel, we took a look at it and said, hey, we've done non-retaliation, and we have a conflict of interest policy. We may not have followed it, and we need to own that as an entity. But we don't have an explicit anti-harassment, anti-discrimination policy that specifically applies to the board or volunteers. At least we think we don't have that. In the midst of all of this, of course, we are having performed right now an investigation into the conduct of this board and into the conduct of the entity itself with respect to a hostile or unsafe work environment. That investigation is not yet complete. It is my hope and my expectation that the results of that investigation will yield some recommendations for us, and that we'll get some expert advice with respect to how do we address conflict issues in the future, and do we need an explicit anti-discrimination, anti-harassment policy over and above what the law provides that governs our volunteers or and/or members of the Board of Governors, who are also volunteers. So I think my report, such as it is we're going to wait, this board is going to wait for the outcome of the investigation that's underway. And presumably, that report will come with recommendations to this board that the board will ultimately have to consider and either adopt or reject. In the meantime, we have a non-retaliation policy that protects people who make complaints that are protected under the law. And we have a conflict of interest policy that should govern the way we deal with each other going forward. So that's the report. And I would welcome comments from members of the Personnel Committee or from incoming members of the Personnel Committee. I think it covers the whole board. So have at it. Thanks.
All right, questions? Carla?
My question is just procedural. This is just a report, no action on this, correct? Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Chris. That was an excellent summary of, it really helped me understand.
Alec?
And I understand that this will be one of the topics that will come to personnel when the investigation is done, and we'll then look at what we need to do.
Additional comments? None? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chris.